One thing that you hear very frequently about match coverage is that it is random. You never know what it's going to do. And while that is sometimes true, the coverage is a little bit buggy. This is a tip that I think can help you guys understand how to attack this coverage if you don't understand what you're looking at. And if you guys do run this coverage, what to look out for in the event that somebody is attacking you and getting guys wide open. Let's go ahead and get into it. What is up, guys? Zan from the Madden YouTube channel, and I'm sure that you guys have kind of noticed that the transition within the nickel 335 wide meta has been from the Mike Blitz 3 a little bit more into the cover 4 show 2. Now, the reason for that is that the cover 4 show 2 is a match coverage. If you don't know what match coverage is, the simple way that I can explain it would be that it is zone and man kind of intermingled with each other. If your guy runs a vertical route, you'll play him man-to-man, even if it breaks to the post or the corner. If your guy doesn't run a vertical route, you will then sink into your deep outside assignment or your deep inside assignment and just play your traditional zone drop. This is a little bit different than if you were to, say, run cover 4 drop. So if I were to try to best explain the difference in how to know whether or not it's match cover 4 or drop cover 4, you'll pay attention to the color of the flat zones. As you can see right here in the nickel 335 wide cover 4 show 2, the flat zone defenders are shaded pink. This is a little bit different than if I were to go into the dollar and take a look at their cover 4, where those flat zones are purple. Now, you'll also notice that in the dollar 326, it's referred to as cover 4 drop contain, meaning that there is no match in this play. This is a general rule of thumb that you can follow. A lot of times a way to know that it's cover 4 match is if there are the words quarters or palms associated with it. So if you take a look, you've got palms in the big nickel over G, and I just showed you that we have the quarters in the big nickel over G. But then you have some other coverages that might confuse you as well, such as cover 6. Cover 6 doesn't really tell you, hey, this is match coverage. But the presence of that pink zone should tell you, hey, this is a split field coverage in which half of our field is playing cover 4 quarters match, and the other half of the field is playing slightly different version of cover 2. There are some matching principles on that side. We're not going to make that overly complicated.
I'm so confused.
So let's go ahead and go back into the nickel 335 wide. We're going to be talking about the cover 4 show 2 here and how we can understand why players like to run it and how you can attack it if you are personally confused and it beats you. So this is going to work for both players, offensively and defensively. Hope you guys better understand what's happening. So we choose the cover 4 show 2. Now, the reason people like cover 4 show 2 is because it does a really good job being a match coverage of defending the street corner flat flood meta. So we all know this meta. I mean, it's all everyone runs.
Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
You know, it's either bench pivot or Z spot or, you know, bunch trail or some sort of corner route with a streak and a flat. And the whole goal here is to kind of throw the ball to the corner. But the reason that this works so well is that that corner route doesn't get open because it is match coverage, meaning that there's a guy dropping into his zone, looking at the route combination, saying, oh man, I've got 2 verticals. I'm going to take one of these man to man. Well, because he's got another guy to the inside saying, hey, 2 verticals, I'm going to take one of these man to man. Naturally, this guy takes the outside vertical and plays man on him. And this guy takes the inside vertical and plays man on him. Now, there are one play touchdown formulas that can get you lob easy scores against that. We're not going to worry about that right now. Let's focus still on the corner routes. If we were to compare that to cover 4 drop, and I'm not saying that this is right, but if we are running cover 4 drop against this, you can actually throw the corner route into the sideline even though you shouldn't. So if I go back to that dollar, you guys are going to see here that if I run that same route combination, somebody on a streak, somebody on a flat, I can, against the drop variant of cover 4, just be patient and throw the corner route down and outside. And for some reason, that outside quarter zone doesn't play it. It just gives ground to it. And that's been the primary complaint from the Madden community as a whole, is zone coverage is too passive. They give a ton of ground to every route. They guard air when there's only one vertical route in their area. You know, for all intents and purposes, if you have a cover 4 outside quarter zone in drop coverage, he should not be turning his back to the quarterback and guarding an imaginary receiver running, you know, in this area of the field. The only deep route in his zone is this corner route, and he decides to continue to run away from it when the ball is already halfway there. And that's why most players are running match coverage. So now, match coverage isn't a solve for everything. Like I said, there are one-play touchdown formulas. There's also going to be some things that really frustrate you when you run this from a defensive perspective that I need to make sure that you guys are aware of, and also let you guys know exist if you guys struggle to beat this coverage. So going back into nickel 3-3-5 wide cover 4 show 2, there's actually a rule from the offensive perspective that if I were to go ahead and motion this guy to the outside, it doesn't matter what he is on. Now we end up with the outside corner saying, okay, I'm not really playing a deep zone. We're basically just going to play like this. This is now what your play art looks like. But a lot of players wouldn't know that because they haven't run a ton of quarters match to understand that. This is something I've been running for years. Now, I'm going to prove this here by putting the B receiver on an out route first. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the A tight end on just an in route, and we'll put Davante Adams on a post. So, you know, in terms of the way this plays in match quarters, Davante Adams is running a vertical route. His man that is across from him, which is this guy, Jamel Dean, is going to play him man to man. This inside quarter does not have a slot receiver to play relative to, so he's looking at the tight end, and he's going to at least jump over to his side, meaning that he jumps down into the inside. Keep in mind that I just told you that Carlton Davis III is going to play number 13 wherever he goes, and now you've got man-to-man with Whitehead on Randall Cobb, number 18. So let me go ahead and kind of respot the ball here, and we'll go ahead and put this in motion. So starting this all from scratch, if I go ahead and I run, you know, something that looks like this as a route combo, this is going to create a lot of problems. And I'm going to prove this to you. I want you to watch Carlton Davis. He's going to bluff like he's going to drop back under that corner, and then he's going to go guard Lazard late in the play. It's really bizarre. Watch this. You see how now B is wide open? So if I were to put B on a slant and get him upfield, you guys can imagine the damage that is going to be done when a guy that is supposed to play him man-to-man is indecisive. He drops off, leaves him open over the middle, and then late in the play, he's going to leave the corner route again, leaving this slant and the corner route open. So what you need now is just a guy that can win on his corner route and trust that he's going to be open if it's cover 4 show 2. It looks like a bluff. I'm going to go ahead and throw that, right? It's not actually doing that. Now, we got a great play right there from the safety, but you can't expect a diving swat every single time on this. So again, going back to this whole setup, if you run something like this, this is a bluff. He turns around, bails on you late, you throw this down and outside, and that time we pick up 30 yards against the match coverage. And again, as it pertains to everything else on this play, you end up having the slant basically uncovered. You've got the safety, Winfield, as I mentioned. He is looking at the tight end. So when we snap this ball looking at Winfield, he is going to play relative to the tight end who stems vertically and then runs a curl. So we've now pulled down this safety, and now look at Davante Adams. We've got an isolation one-on-one touchdown. If he wins on his route, we could lob that over the top of everybody. So now you've got a slant wide open. You've got this corner route that was bluffed as being covered initially. It's wide open. You've got this curl that pulls down the safety in the middle of the field. And now if you could just win with Davante Adams, you've got a lot of field to chuck to in this area of the field. So this is why the skinny post out of the play bunch trail is so popular. So going back, if we go ahead and take a look at a play like bunch trail, which if you guys run the regular bunch, you guys probably run this play because it is one of the best plays in the game. And it's no different against match quarters. So a lot of players will go ahead and run this as a way to bomb pretty much every coverage, zone-wise. But when it comes to match quarters, you've actually got something in your arsenal as well. If I were to motion Lazard to the outside, we already know that that outside corner is going to play him man-to-man anywhere he goes. Put him on an out route. If you want to put Tanyan on a curl, go ahead. If you want to put the wide receiver or the running back on a swing, go ahead. We know that with this should end up with us getting the isolation ball. The one thing that you could say might not work would be this particular corner route against Whitehead. Whitehead might back off on that and end up, you know, playing the middle of the field. You're just going to make that read. So we snap this ball. You see how everything matched the way we thought it was. Wasn't the best throw in the world by Rodgers. I tried to pass lead that. I think pass lead is a little bit wonky. But again, you saw exactly what we talked about right there. So if I set that up again really quickly, again, you get the corner route, you've got the post route. There it is. And then we just lob that ball up and we got a pressure inaccurate. But you can see that you had everything that we talked about being open on this play. Again, we go ahead and take a look at this. You end up with this corner route. You could actually throw that ball to the corner route. Just a simple bullet pass and possession catch to 18. You don't even have to lead him. Just throw a bullet pass and possession. And then you got your one play touchdown over the top. Now, if you guys go back and you want to intermingle the two concepts together of what I've shown you with the Z spot, you would obviously need a outside apprentice or a hot route master to make this work. But now you're fusing the best elements of Z spot with the best elements of bunch trail, which bunch trail is basically, we run that because it has a skinny post on the backside that can, you know, beat everything. But in terms of, you know, running it this way, now we're like running a better version of bunch trail for the coverage that we're facing, which is cover 4 match. So again, now when we snap this, we just know that Adams is going to beat his man. You see that we're able to lob that up. And again, if you have a speedier receiver, it's just a lob, one play score rack. But again, everybody does exactly what I said is going to happen. This guy ends up getting matched man to man to the flat. This corner route is a down and outside pass lead here for 25 yards against his man. This guy is just decoy holding Antoine Winfield to pull him down and open up the space behind him on the match. And then here in the flat, we've just got match coverage here. If you want to run this guy on a wheel against match coverage, I believe that Aaron Jones has the backfield mismatch. So if you wanted to go ahead and run it this way, I believe if you get one-on-one with the linebacker, which JPP is a linebacker, I think you can aggressive catch that. So if I throw this ball up and just hold Y, he'll ag, and you see that he lights up. So if you have the backfield master, the backfield mismatch against this, and that's a linebacker, which a lot of people are going to run their nickel on auto flip, you basically have everything that you need on this. You've got 25 yards to the sideline. You've got obviously the lob over the top. You've got the backside wheel against the linebacker quarter flat. You're going to be able to throw that every single time. So again, I'm hurried. I'm just going to hold Y and catch it. And they're never going to let him get an interception animation on that ball because it is a mismatch situation. But again, the simple motion of this guy to the outside will completely break match. It just anything he will be in a lot of trouble on. You know, I'm not necessarily saying you would want to run the double move, but you could if you wished. You know, you run this double move and you see, you know, he ran away from his guy. We got kind of hurried a little bit right there, but you saw how that kind of put everybody in a bind on this play. So we had, you know, the stop and go, you know, he checks up and then ends up running away from his guy. We had a pass lead into this area of the field. This guy, you know, you're just going to look to see if he beats his man. If he does, you're going to lob it up into this area of the field for the touchdown. This guy, if he's on a wheel, is going to be the ag on the linebacker. And then, of course, we've got this route isolated where we're just going to throw this ball down and outside here for 30 yards. So now with the Z spot and go, you've got literally one of the best chunk yardage plays in the game against a coverage that a lot of players are going to kind of as a last ditch effort to deal with a lot of these corner routes. So it's a big time problem. It's a mismatch formation in general. Bunch is always one of the best formations in the game. And this year is really, truly no different. Again, here as I run this, you're going to see that double move. X was open on that play. You know, I could have thrown that a lot sooner. I was still able to hit him on that. The wheel route's going to be open if you have backfield master or mismatch. Just so much that you have to worry about. And of course, last but not least, you have that corner route. I don't want you guys to forget about the corner route. The whole point of this concept here was to basically show that this gets the corner routes wide open. You see how I'm able to do that right there, Randall Cobb. You know, if you have a fast receiver, that's going to be a lot more than what you get there with Randall Cobb. So this will help you guys understand how to attack this. Hopefully you guys now understand what is going to happen to you when your opponent motions out on you when you're in quarters at a bunch. You guys can adapt accordingly from this. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Cover 4 quarters is a very complex defense. If you guys are struggling with this and you guys want to understand a little bit more, go check out my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg. Hopefully I'll see you guys over there on the website. If not, we'll see you guys right back here with our next video upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.